If you've ever been at that point where you have to decide what school your child has to go to after primary school, then you will understand the sister's problem. The school system in Germany here, for people who have left primary school and have to change into what we call Weiterführung in the Schule, what we popularly know in most African countries as college, general college. But here, no, Germany says it's not like that. They are so high ranking and so differentiated in the various types of schools that children might go according to their capabilities. You have what we call gymnasium. We have what we call Realschule. You have what we call Gesamtschule. Then you also have the Förderschule. And this Förderschule, they are also differentiated in various kinds of Förderschule. But we're not even going to Förderschule right now because this child in question here has nothing to do with the Förderschule. The mother is suffering from the decision of the child going to gymnasium, Realschule or Gesamtschule. This child has only been here for 3 years in Germany. But according to the mother's report, you can see up there, she says the school says the child is very intelligent, he does very well. So, but the problem now is how to decide what school the child should go to. Gymnasium, Realschule or Gesamtschule. In order to make such a decision, you have to know what these school forms entail and what they require. Because going to gymnasium has its own requirements, different from Realschule and different from Gesamtschule. First of all, when you're leaving primary school, your teacher, your school recommends what school you are due to go to, okay, that they think is suitable for you because they have known you for the period of your primary school, okay, what is called Grundschule. But you as a parent, you also have your choice to make. The last word comes from you. The school only recommends why you will decide. If you think that you go with the decision of the school, good and fine for you. If you don't want to go with the decision of the school, still good and fine for you. The most important thing is let the child get the space where you think that you want the child to go to. It's the children with very good grades, especially in math, in English, in Dutch. They mostly recommend them gymnasium, and in all other subjects, they're getting at least Note 1, 2. Sometimes in some subjects, maybe some dry is accepted. They will go to gymnasium. They will recommend them gymnasium from their primary school. They're like very, very good. They show some kind of stability in their learning cognitively, which means their reasoning shows that they're very high in their reasoning, and they can also take stress. The stress level for children in gymnasium is always very high. Their syllabus is always compacted, and their length of time of study is also very short. It used to be mostly 12 years. Now they've sent it to some schools are still having 12 years, but it's going to be 13 years now for everybody. The children who are going to mostly Realschule, they are children who are somewhere around the 3s and the 4s. Most children who go to Realschule, as I already said, they're mostly average children who take their time to learn. They don't need a lot of pressure, like they're going to fall out of the road. So it is always recommended that they go to Realschule. And in the Realschule, you can only end in the 10th class. You cannot go up to 12 or 13. But children who finish from the Realschule now, they have what we call the Mittlere Reife. With this, you can either do Ausbildung, or you continue to do a Berufsfachschule, Fachabitur, or you continue, and after your Fachabitur, you can also now go to the university. Or the children who do so well from Realschule, they can now transfer to a Gymnasium, Oberstufe, okay, to go and prepare to do Abitur and everything. But you have now the Gesamtschule, which is a mix of Realschule and Gymnasium, which is mostly what we commonly know back in Africa as a normal college. So in this Gesamtschule, you have children too that are also doing very well in those 3 subjects that I just named, in math, in English, in Dutch. They do very well, but they decide to prefer Gesamtschule, and I will explain why. Some parents will choose Gesamtschule for their children. Why? Because they have a lengthy time for the syllabus that they have to do before they write Abitur. They have the level where you can do right up to the 10th class, and after that, depending on the school, either you continue with the school or you go now to do Fachabitur, or you do so well, continue your Oberstufe, and then you also do Abitur. But it's only their syllabus goes up to 13 years. So you see, they are having almost the same thing with the gymnasium, but only it is a little bit stretched. But this stress doesn't exist anymore because Gesamtschule now and gymnasium, from last year, there was already a rule that changed that all of them are going to be having the same length of time to finish up. So right now, whether your child is going to a gymnasium or a Gesamtschule is not going to make too much difference. The difference is going to be now between Realschule and these school 2 forms. okay? Because Realschule has only up to 10 class. But these other two forms, they'll have up to the 13 class. And children now will take their time to be able to learn and prepare themselves for Abitur. Or with Gesamtschule, you can prepare up to 20 class. You get your mittlere Reife and then you change now. Maybe you go and do Ausbildung, maybe you go to Berufsfachschule. So you just have to think and know, how is your child going to cope with the school stress? Is your child somebody that can take too much pressure from schoolwork? If so, and you think the child is clever enough to cope with gymnasium stress, then send the child to gymnasium. But if not, recommend Gesamtschule for this child. Or if you think that the child is somebody that will probably not be doing something like Abitur, you just want to end and do Ausbildung, then there is no need. You can send the child now to a Realschule to get the mittlere Reife, which will qualify this child now to do Ausbildung. The most important thing that you have to know is whether it's Realschule, whether it's Gymnasium, or whether it's Gesamtschule, this child will end up, if the child wants to even do Abitur, passing through Realschule, you finish with Fach Abitur, you can still go to a university with Fach Abitur.